Up until now, we've covered perimeter, which was just the distance around, and it's one-dimensional. And so when we find the answer to perimeter, we just use units. Okay, like inches or feet or yards. It's like the invisible exponent 1, units, to the first. Okay, we don't usually put the first, but this 1 represents the one-dimensional. Then the past 2 days, we've been dealing with area of different two-dimensional figures like triangles and circles and rectangles and parallelograms and trapezoids, blah, 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 blah. And those were measured in units squared because they're two-dimensional. The measurement is two-dimensional. And all this time we've been using a formula chart. This formula chart you will be able to use on the test. Now you can't use your personal formula chart, so you can write all over it if you want. They'll give you a new one in the test. And we also have the calculators here that you're going to be using. Okay, today we're going to talk about volume. Volume is three-dimensional. (3D), if you will. And so our units for volume are going to be measured in units cubed, okay? Now, right here, we said perimeter was just finding the distance around what you would walk, right? Area, we said, was the amount of area inside. Okay, we were finding the area inside. Now today, what we're going to do, I used an example here, like if I was planting grass or if I was putting carpet down here, I would need to know how much carpet, and that's in area, okay? But today, what we're going to do is we're going to find out how much of something I could fill this thing up with, okay? So I always think volume is like how much water this will hold, or how many styrofoam peanuts it'll hold, or, you know, how many marble, or how much marbles, not how many, okay? So the main things today I wanted to tell you was what volume is. It's measured in cubic units. And then we're going to find out what a prism is. We're going to be dealing with prisms today, pyramids next week. So we're just going to talk about what pyramids look like and what makes a pyramid. Prism. My bad. Now the very first page in your worksheet simply says, can you tell the difference between two-dimensional figures and three-dimensional figures? That's just to make sure you know how. Then the next couple of pages has unit blocks. Like if you had a box and you had these little cubes and filled the box with those little cubes, they want you to try to count or figure out how many cubes are in there, okay? And that is actually what we're going to find for volume, is how many little cubes fit in there, if you can use your imagination for that. Okay, that's what the next 2 pages, I think. And then let's talk about actually what a prism is. A prism, of course, is 3D, three-dimensional. And this is the 2 main things about a prism. It has 2 bases. 2 bases These bases will be parallel to each other. The two bases will be parallel, and I'll show you a picture in a minute. And the name of the prism is according to the shape of the base. Can't seem to make an A today. Okay, a prism. These are the things you need to remember. A prism is 3D. It has two bases. This is very important. This is the way you're going to be able to tell the difference between a prism and then later on a pyramid. Okay, so a prism has two bases, and the way you can figure out what the base is that they're parallel to each other. Okay, some of these pictures that you're going to get, the picture is turned, and so you'll have to look for the base according to the ones that are parallel to each other. Okay, we'll talk about it. I'll actually go into the worksheet and we'll talk about some of these. And you're going to name your prism according to the shape of the base. We will have rectangular prisms. We will have triangular prisms. We will have hexagonal prisms, which means the bases that are parallel to each other are the shape of a hexagon. Y'all see? Okay, but it has to have two bases. So let's move on from here. Is there any question on this part? Okay, two bases, and the bases are named for the shape, or the prism's named for the shape. So the first page, I think you're okay, right? Where you're naming 2D and 3D. Now, the next two pages are only here for you to look at and maybe try some of these. However many cubes you see, that is the volume. It's the cubes that fill up the picture, okay? Yes.
I understand how they got the answer for number 2, the 72 feet. And I don't understand how they got the answer for number 1.
Number 1, right here?
Yes.
Okay. The easiest way for me is to see the front, and I count the front. And then if I look there, there's 1, 2, 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. So I take how many's in front and just multiply it by 3.
But on this one,
How did you do
I
it?
noticed they didn't do that with this one though. And I still got the wrong answer, but it ended up being this answer that I got right here. But over here, I don't understand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 28 on the front, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you take 28 times 3, you took it times 2. See, there's a whole flat sheet on front, and the same flat sheet is in the middle, and the same flat sheet is on the back. So 28, 28, and 28. 28 times 3. Not yet? Okay, after the lesson, you can come up and ask questions. We'll sit together.
Okay.
Is that all right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm not careful, I'll trip all over you guys. Okay, let's move on from those. I don't want you to get so bogged down that you think you're dumb if you can't do these cubes. All right, we're going to move on. I want you to be on page 4. This is where we actually do our work. Okay, those of you, if you'll notice at the top, it says integers S2. That's how you know what page we're on. Okay, integers page 2. The ones in the classroom have their pages numbered, but those of you that got it in email don't. All right, now what I want you to do is go to your formula chart, and I want you to find the heading that says volume. We're going to be finding volume now. And so it's right there. The first heading says area. The second one says perimeter. The third one says surface area and volume. So the surface, each one of these underneath here will have two formulas. You see? The first one is rectangular or right prism. Do you know where we are? Is everybody where we are? Okay. If you see rectangular and right prism, then if you move over, the SA is the surface area. We'll do that later. Here is the formula for the volume right there. Okay. So the fact that we have used this formula chart before, you all know what some of the letters stand for, but you're going to have some new letters that we need to define for you. Up until now, we have had B, which stands for the base of the triangle or the base of the parallelogram, whatever. Right here. Oh, you already have it, don't you? Okay. That was just the base, like here's the triangle. This was the base, one dimensional, okay? It's just the base. But now we have a capital B, which means different, okay? The capital B means we have to find the area of the base, because now we're going to have prisms. Yes, prisms. So this is what I mean. You don't have to be an artist. Okay, the area of the base, this is called a rectangular prism, because the bases are parallel to each other, has two bases, that's why it's a prism, and the base shape is a rectangle, okay? So we have to find the volume now. The volume equals the area of the base times the height. The area of the base means you have to stop and find the area of this rectangle first. So let's pull this rectangle out. This is what the base looks like if we're looking straight on. Let's put some numbers on here. Let's put 10 inches, 4 inches, and 5 inches. Are you guys okay? You want to draw this as an example for yourselves? Okay. Now, if we have a big B, the volume of this rectangular prism says we have to stop and find the area of the base first. And the way you find the area is 5 inches. This is 4 inches, because y'all understand this is this. Y'all understand that? Okay, the area of a rectangle, do you guys remember we did a bunch of these? How do you find the area of a rectangle? Length times width. So the area here is going to be 20 inches squared, right? For the base. So the area of the base is 20 times, and a reminder that the height in any of our pictures, the height has to be perpendicular to the base. Perpendicular means 90 degrees, okay? It's going to have to be perpendicular. We can do it back. No, yeah. Perpendicular to the base. It can't be slanted out this way. It has to be perpendicular to the base. And so the height in this case is 10 inches.
Where'd you get the 20?
I did 5 times 4. This is the base.
Got
Here.
it.
5 times 4.
Okay.
Length times width. Okay, the area of the base. So the volume now is 200. We're working with inches, and volume is cubed. You may also see it written as cubic inches. All right? Are you able to see? Do you want to move?
Are we allowed to sit two to a table?
I'm okay if you're okay.
Okay. Does anybody mind if I sit with them?
Okay, so volume equals the area of the base times the height. Big B is different from little b. Is everybody okay with this first one? Okay, this second one, so what I want to say first before I show you the second one is on this page 4 of your worksheet, you'll notice that they have already figured the area of the base for you. So they're taking you in small steps to find the volume. This first one right here, they've already told you that this place that has area written on it, they're calling that the base. Can you see that this and that back side are parallel to each other? This one that has area. There's one on this side. So those, they're calling it the base. Now on a rectangular prism, there's a lot of pieces that you could call the base. So don't get mixed up or think you're picking the wrong one. Rectangular prism, all of the sides are rectangles. Okay, so you can use different bases. In this case, they've already given you the area of the base. So all you have to do is take that number times the height to get the volume. They're starting you easy, so you don't have to find the area of the base. They gave it to you. Do y'all understand what I'm telling you? Brady?
So 28 times 9?
Yes, yes. Because they already found big B. Okay? Now that's that page. I like to give you pages that go easy. So page 5 is the same.
It would be like that from 1 all the way through 6, right? Because it says the area on all of them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They're just making you practice because they're going to move you on. Mary and Brandy will tell you, and Christina, they start you easy and move you on. So page 4 and 5, they give you the area of base. Now, look at page 6 now. Page 6, they didn't give you the area of the base, but if you can tell, sometimes on the copies, you can't tell the shaded part. But on this one, they didn't give you the area of the base, but they did tell you which one is the base that they want you to use. So if you can tell, barely, they want you to use the front part as the base. Can you tell that shading? It's really light.
So that's the 64, right?
The 64 times 32. This is the base. This says 64. This says 32. And this says 28. So if they want the front to be the base, where's the parallel side? It's in the back, right? If there's the front and the back are the ones that are parallel. Okay, you will like this. Get these out. I have these, so you can actually look at them. Here's our cylinders getting away. Here's at a teacher store. Okay, so here is the prism that I tried to draw. It looks just like this. Okay, and they're saying they want this front part to be a base, and it can be because this back is parallel to the front. Y'all see? Okay, so like I said, on a rectangular prism, the top could be the base because it's parallel to the bottom. The side could be the base because it's got a parallel side. Rectangular prisms are pretty easy. Okay, so, but they indicated they want the front part to be the base. And so what we need to do is stop and get you all some calculators because you're going to need them. If you'll come up here real quick. I need you. Pardon? You need one also? We'll stop and get some calculators.
Do we
Here you
need to send them
go.
out? Okay.
The number that you're signing in is the middle number. Okay. We have to do this. About a year ago, we didn't sign them out and they started walking away. So we had to get new ones. What do you want? Pencil. Is that yours? Somebody left that one. Oh, that one's one that somebody left. Everybody can, Mary, are you still waiting on the calculator? Now, when we look at the formula chart, you'll look for where it says volume and come across where it says rectangular prism. And the formula is this. Okay. Now, when it has a big B, you have to look for the base. They told you which one we want to use for the base. And the big B, the capital B, means find the area of that before you do anything else. Okay, and the area of this rectangle right here is going to be length times width, 64 times 32. Okay? Not yet. You're going to use it also. 32 times 64. But what I've taught the class is let's just go slow. So we've got volume equals, and underneath the B, I'm going to put 2048 because that is our 32 times 64. That's how you find the area of this rectangle, length times width, yes? And then after you know this, when things are crammed together, this means times. So we're going to multiply that by the height. Now, the height doesn't necessarily have to go up. What it is the length that joins those two bases. So can you see that the front and the back are joined by this piece? Okay, so that's the height in this particular picture. So you're going to take that times 28. Wow. So the volume, I hope I got this right. Did y'all look at the answer? Feet, because we're dealing with feet, and volume is cubed. So be used to putting your units on your answer now. Does that match the answer on the back? Seems crazy big. Okay. And that is how much something, maybe I'm going to get a load of sand for something. Then I would tell them I need, usually they do yards, but I'm going to tell the sand people I want 57,344 cubic feet of sand, please, because I want to fill this box. Okay? Volume is what fills it up. Do y'all kind of see what we're doing here? All right, let's look down. Let's see if there's another one on that page, or I might go to the next page. Let's see. Okay, each one of these written problems, you just draw your own picture. You do not have to be an artist. And then page 7, we're doing the same thing. We still have rectangular prisms. Page 8, same thing, y'all. Same thing. They're going to give you a lot of practice on finding the volume of a rectangular prism. Okay? On page 8, they just move to fractions. And if any of you have a little bit of trouble with fractions, come on up. You'll find out that I just answer questions here as much as you want to come up here. I never get mad. Do I, Mary? Do I ever get mad? I don't get mad, Jesus. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right, let's look at page 9. Page 9. This is the first time we see a different prism. But if you'll notice, it's still called a prism because it has two bases that are parallel to each other. Y'all see? But this time, the two bases that are parallel to each other are triangles, which doesn't cause any problem for us at all. Okay. The two bases, if you can see, let me see if I have one of those. Yes, right here. Okay, this is called a triangular prism because here is a base that's shaped like a triangle, and here's the parallel base on the back side. If you have two bases that are parallel to each other, then we have a prism, okay? And the prism is named for the shape of its base. So now we don't have a rectangular prism, we have a triangular prism. Do y'all see? All right. Now on this first page, just like our other first page, they're going to give us the area already. Because guess what? The volume is still the area of the base times height.
So are you on page 9?
I am on page 9. Page 9. Okay, and they highlighted, I think, they highlight the first part, that this base right here. So they're going to call that the base. And they already told you what the area was here. They said the area was, yes, thank you, 72 inches squared. And then this is 6 inches. So they're going to start you out slow again. They gave you what capital B was. They found the, the area of the base. So I have 72 times, and remember the height doesn't necessarily have to go up and down because we laid this thing over. And so the height is what joins those two bases. Here's a base, here's a base, here's the line that hooks them together. So this is the height right here, and it's 6. Remember that if you have two things crammed together, it's multiply. And so we simply multiply this. So the volume of this triangular prism is going to be, I think, 432 inches cubed, because now we're finding volume. Is everything okay? Okay. This page, they gave you what the area of the base is. Now we're going to move on because they'll probably have you find your own area, which is going to be new to the two that came in today. So let's try this. Now this is kind of strange because number one, it kind of looks like that rectangle on the side is shaded, but it can't be. We're on page 10.
Yeah, I noticed stuff. I mean, I didn't really.
It looks like,
part, but
it looks like that's shaded, but that's not a base, is it? Because there's not a parallel thing to it. The bases are the front triangle and the back triangle. So let's look at this problem. I'm on page 10, number 1.
Discover.
And I have this. All right. So you can see that this has a triangular base because this other one back here, if I drew it better, here's a triangle on the back and a triangle on the front, and they're parallel to each other. Those are the bases. Even if it looks like they shaded this rectangle, that doesn't have anything parallel to it. It can't be. So this is a base, this is a base. So the volume of this triangular prism, again. Okay? So what we have to do, let me put the numbers on here now. Right. So we just now said that the base is a triangle. Sometimes it's hard to look at it here. If you want to, this is what I've done before for myself. I just pull the base out so I can just look at it by itself. So this is 5, this is 7. That's all I need, right? And they have this. This 90-degree angle says that this height is perpendicular to the base. Now, those of you that haven't been here to find the area of a triangle, it's on your formulas chart underneath area. It says area of triangle. And the area is equal to 1/2 times the base times the height. Okay? Now, I've told the students before you got here that the easiest way to work any of these volumes or area formulas is to actually write the way it looks on the formula chart first, then plug in your numbers, and you probably won't miss anything. So to find the area of this triangle, which is our big B, right? The area of the base. So area equals 1/2 times the base here. The base and the height have to be perpendicular to each other, times 5. Okay, so the area of this triangle is 17.5, I think. Is that correct? Now the way, this is really cool because it lets you put a fraction in really neat. Watch this. If you're going to put 1/2 in, you say 1, but here's the fraction, and look what it does. It lets you put the 2 down here, but what you have to remember is if you type some more stuff, it'll still put it on the bottom. So you need to scoot over out of it. Oh. And then you say times, and then 7 times 5. See it? Equals. Now it may give you a fraction, but this is what all of us love about this. If you really want the decimal, like I put up there, this is a toggle switch, and it goes back and forth between a fraction and a decimal. So see? And if you want to do this, it goes back to the fraction, goes back to the decimal. This toggle switch is like our friend. You see? So there's a couple of things that we like about this. Okay? So what we have found right now is not the final answer. We have found the area of the base, because remember, that's what this is. We only found the area of the base, which is this. So we have 17.5, and look and see if you can find the line that joins those two bases. That's the height, and that's 12. See, this is a base, this is a base, there's the line that joins the two. Y'all see? So we're going to take it times 12. Good. Did you do
I
it?
just listened to him. He
Oh,
said
do it in your
210.
calculator. Go 17.5 times 12.
Okay.
210, yes. 210 is the volume that would fill this thing up, and it is inches because we have inches, cubed because it's volume. Are we good? Let me see. I don't know that we're going to go. We're going to do the same thing on page 11.
Miss Deborah, and then for page 10 and 11, I just, in the calculator, I put the three, I multiplied all three numbers and then I divided it by 2 and it gave me all the answers for all pages.
You're my shortcut queen, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just don't tell anybody else.
Okay.
And that seems to be all we need for this entire, no.
On page 12,
No. I want to stop there. On Monday, we're going to continue, especially because we have new people in here. I don't want to cram the whole packet into you. So you have enough information to work all the way through page 11. Okay, on Monday, we will still be doing prisms, but this is a parallelogram prism. I guess parallelogram prism. I don't know. Anyhow, the base is going to be a parallelogram, which is no different from this except the base area. So if you choose to move on in the packet during the weekend, you can. But all we're going to worry about is up to page 11. Everybody remember? Up to page 11. Try that. I'm up here for any questions at all. So, yes.
can I go up there and you show me how to do page 12? Because I already did one to 11.
Okay, I will help you when I finish this recording. Sound good? Any other questions? All right. We will see you on Monday. We'll continue prisms and then pyramids.